Hey YouTube, just wanted to jump on really quick and discuss the Testament since we had the season finale drop this week. I thoroughly enjoyed the season. I thought that was a good wrap up to the season. We'll definitely be getting a season 2. If I recollect correctly, the last review I had given, we had stopped at the tea party where the Greens get to show off all their skills and how much of a good wife that they will be for whichever commander selects them. And at the tea party, Agnes's tooth ends up cracking because there's some type of ritual slash party game where you bite into a dessert, and if you get a miniature ceramic bride, then you are pretty much the belle of the ball, if I must say. So Agnes ends up having to go back to the dentist again. And if you remember correctly, she felt that she was inappropriately touched when the dentist rubbed his hand across her chest, Dr. Grove. And when she woke up, she had a feeling, and she didn't say it, but you could tell that she definitely felt like something happened. She just wasn't sure what that thing was. The same thing happens again when she goes to the dentist this time. And then the next step in the whole suitor bachelorette situation is that they will go to a ball and they will show off their dance skills, and they get to wear a green dress, of course. And Nicole ends up actually getting intoxicated. One of the commanders that was dancing with her slips her alcohol. And then Agnes has a moment where she sees Dr. Grove, and she has almost not necessarily a flashback because again he uses laughing gas when he does his dental procedures on her, but you could tell she has like a physical reaction to seeing him. um so they end up getting through that episode. I mean, it wasn't much or very eventful, but it just gives you an idea that we're headed towards the next steps of their courtship. And then the aunts Then we fast forward to the aunts finalizing the girls' selections. I really did enjoy that episode because it gets into the relationship between Aunt Vidala and Aunt Lydia, which is a very complex relationship. And it shows when Gilead had taken over the country, and they actually break into the school and they take over and they take all the women to a sports stadium and they make them stay there. And then it's almost like they begin not seems, they slowly begin to separate and weed out the different women. And Aunt Lydia is tested and has to show that she is committed to the cause, that she'll have to shoot somebody. And she almost does shoot Odala at the stadium. Is very, very obviously it's not a reality and it's not something that happened, but the acting was so good. I definitely internalized the scene, like watching the women being controlled and told where to go and what to do, and just like being trapped in that stadium and like the unknown, the fear and the unknowns were very palpable in those scenes. And then you come to realize, which it's still up in the air for me, if Aunt Lydia is Mayday or not. But you find out that she is writing in a journal and she's writing an account of everything that goes on. And then we will find out that Commander Weston has selected Agnes, and then Garth has selected Nicole. Now, Garth is the Mayday undercover guard right now, but he will be transitioning to a commander. So he has selected Nicole as his wife. Um, Daisy will become a purple. She will eventually get her cycle and she will go through the whole ritual. So she will officially be moving up. So she has infiltrated the system. Unfortunately, Daisy's roommate ends up getting arrested for having the headphones. There are a pair of headphones that Daisy brought from outside, and she hid them in her roommate's bed post, and it was discovered, and she was carried off. And what else? There's so much that happened. Um, and then Hulda, she eventually finds a match as well, and she ends up getting her cycle. So she ends up having to go to the dentist as well. And she tries to discuss with Agnes what happened, but she doesn't know how to formulate the words because these women have been raised very modestly. But from what she's telling Agnes, they put two and two together and realize that the same thing that's happening to Agnes is happening to her, and they decide to speak up. And unfortunately, in this type of society, the women get the brunt of it, and they are shamed and told that what they thought happened didn't really happen. It's very infuriating. Um, so Daisy ends up learning about what's going on, and this is when you see a shift in Daisy. I mean, Daisy's always seems to have taken the Mayday role seriously, but you see her beginning to invest and realize that these girls need help, and I need to like be the change to try to make them realize that they need to be saved, even if they don't know that they need to be saved. So now that Daisy's a purple, she ends up having to go to the dentist as well, just to make sure she's clean and intact, and like her teeth are in good health. And Dr. Grove actually does not try anything with her. He does not make a pass at her, but she stands up in her appointment and starts screaming and ripping her clothes. And she gets down on her knees and prays in front of everybody, the aunts, the guards, and Agnes, who went to the dentist with her, asking for forgiveness and explaining what happened. And we end up going through all the motions, and Aunt Lydia asking what happened. And then we fast forward to dinner, and Dr. Grove is saying that he didn't do anything to Daisy, which he didn't, but he has inappropriately touched other young ladies. But he decides to leave that part out. And Nicole later on, because Agnes has told Nicole that her father, she does know that what is being said is true because it happened to her. And Nicole has a deep love for Agnes. She would do anything for her, and she ends up killing her father. She ends up stabbing him in the bathtub and going to Agnes's house and asking for help. And the eyes get called, and you see Nicole get carried off. So we know this is not going to end well for her. Is this the end of Nicole? Luckily, no, it's not. Agnes asks her betrothed to please give her some grace and mercy, and that what Dr. Rose accused of is true because he's done the same thing to her. So Nicole gets to go home, and she gets to stay with her mom until the final decision has been made. And then we fast forward to Garth and Nicole getting married, and they go through it, and it's the saddest thing I've ever seen because she does not want to get married. She has just killed her father. She's going through all this trauma, and her mother takes the blame for murdering her father. So her mother ends up being executed. So simultaneously, while the wedding is going on, Nicole's mother is being executed and hanged for her father's murder. Now, Daisy has a meeting with June Osborne. Apologies, too many names going on in my mind at the same time. And she's unaware that they were wanting to pull her out of the operation. They don't think that Daisy is ready and that she can handle it. And Daisy decides she wants to stay. And she gives June, what is wrong with me today? She gives June a speech that she is ready and that she's ready to fight for the girls. And she goes back, and she is talking to Agnes, and Agnes tells her that her betrothed decided not to marry her. And I'm sure we obviously know what it has to do with, but she says it was all worth it because now she knows her friend is safe. And Daisy tells her that you're just like your mother, and Agnes is like, what? And she explains to her that she's just like June Osborne and how much that they're like. And you see the change, you see the light kind of come on in Agnes's eyes. And as the season has progressed, you see that these girls know, they may not know that something's up or something's not right about the way that they're forced to live, but they know something's not right here. And what is that thing? So we end the season with them walking down the hallway holding hands, and it's it's pretty obvious we're gonna get a second season. So I'm interested to see if Lydia, if we finally get some confirmation. Paula Agnes's stepmom, can't stand her. Whoever she is, I didn't research her real name, but she plays a bad guy so well. Like she's really playing that part. And then I secretly wondered at moments, could she be putting on because she needs to have a cover because she's Mayday? But I think as the series is going on or as the season progresses, I realize I don't think she is. I just think that's truly her personality. So I can't wait to get another season. Yeah, have a good weekend. Bye.